Well, welcome. It is the RUSS TOLMAN Good Time Hour here on KDRT, Davis, California, 95.7 on the frequency modulation dial. We're going to be having ourselves some fun. We got Peter Holsapple on the show later on today, but right now we heard the Frightnrs from a record that sounds so much like the 1960s, but is actually recorded in the 21st century, and that's on the Daptone label. And coming up now, it's the Sinseers.
Nothing I can do about this love I have for you. Nothing I can do about this infatuation. There's nothing I can do about it, baby. There's nothing I can say about it, baby. If you need love, oh, I'll give you love, all that I can give to you. There's nothing I can do about this broken heart. Ain't nothing I can do about this lonesome feeling. There's nothing I can do about it, baby. There's nothing I can say about it. If you need love, oh, I'll give you love, all that I can give to you. If you need love, I'll give you love, all that I can give to you. If you need love, I'll give you love, all that I can give to you. To you. Oh, what will she do? What will she tell me? What will she tell you? Should I take you home? Should I take you home? Should I telephone? Or should I telephone? Should I take you home? Should I take you home? Should I telephone? Or should I telephone? There's no excuse that she would understand. So baby, when I take you home, hold me by the hand. We told your mama that we'd be in by 8. She's probably wondering, oh, why we're late. Should I take you home? Should I take you home? Or should I telephone? Or should I telephone? Should I take you home? Should I telephone? Should I telephone? Or should I take you home? Should I take you home? Should I take you home? Should I telephone? Or maybe I should telephone. Should I take you home? Should I take you home?
My, I'm feeling very romantic right here on the RUSS TOLMAN Good Time Hour. That was Sonny and the Sunliners, and Can I Take You Home? And Sonny and the Sunliners were out of San Antonio, Texas, and before that they were known as Sonny and the Sunglows. And Sonny Ozuna had a long career. And right before that, we heard a band that sounds like it could be from the 1950s or 60s, but no, it's the Sinseers, and it's a brand new record. The Sinseers with Joey Quinones. And the name of the song that we heard here on the Good Time Hours was Like I Can Give. And we're shifting gears right now. Got an interview with Peter Holsapple of the DBs and the Continental Drifters.
How you been?
I'm good. We're welcoming him to the program, to the Good Time Hour, Peter Holsapple, who you probably know from the DBs, Continental Drifters, and even a little band called REM. How you doing, Peter?
I'm doing great. I can smell cookies baking in the other room, so it's a beautiful. Wife decided to work from home today, and so
you and I have known each other for a few decades, and I think this is the first time we've actually spoken to each other beyond a hello and perhaps a how are you?
Something like that, yeah. Well, what a pleasure to finally get to have some time to chat.
Yeah, no kidding. So you got a lot going on at the moment with the DBs and the Continental Drifters. You want to tell us a little more about it?
Sure. Happy to tell you all about this. This has been the back 40 at work. I turned 68 this year, and we've got the DBs' first 2 albums are being re-released. The first one, Stands for Decibels, from 1981, has come out already and seems to be selling fairly briskly, which is very nice, on a label called Propeller Sound Recordings. And then Repercussion, which is the second record that we did that came out also in 1981, is due out in October. So that's very, very cool. And we're doing a bunch of dates surrounding that. We are playing as one of the featured bands at the Raleigh, North Carolina Rock Festival weekend after next, called Hopscotch, which also features people like St. Vincent and Guided by Voices and the Jesus Lizard and all kinds of people. So we're very excited about that. And then we're also doing a bunch of dates for the rest of the year, pretty much the weekends for the larger part. We're going to Chicago and Milwaukee and Minneapolis, and we're going to Jersey City and Philadelphia and D.C. and where else? Decatur, Georgia, Athens, Asheville, Charlotte, and then also 2 shows in Los Angeles and 1 in San Francisco. So
I was going to ask you about
pretty
that.
Happy. Yeah.
So tell us more about the LA show.
LA shows, well, the first one sold out, so they added a second one. It's at a club called Zebulon.
Okay.
And they
Been
are
there.
on the 16th and 17th of November. And these are presented by our friends with the Wild Honey Foundation, Paul Rock,
Okay.
David Jenkins, Michael Ackerman,
Sure.
that cast of characters. So we're very excited to be able to do that with the DBs. You know, I've done a bunch of stuff with the Drifters with them, and Chris Damey and I have gone out and done stuff for them as well. But this is the first time that the DBs have been able to do that. And it's also probably one of the few times that we've actually gone to Los Angeles with this band. And it's like, I do know that the original band, which is the group that's out right now, me, Chris, Will Rigby on drums, and Gene Holder on bass, we did actually play at the Whiskey A Go-Go one time. I want to say it was sometime around a Halloween, because in the car on the way into town, everybody was walking around in their costumes, and I'm like, wow, this place is a little weird. But we played, and we you know, I mean, being an East Coast band, New York, basically a band from New York, we didn't really have a lot of wherewithal to get out to the West Coast. So this is very exciting that we're going to actually be able to do some shows finally.
That's cool. Where are you playing in San Francisco?
Where?
Yes.
Or when? We are,
both.
I believe we are playing at a place called the Chapel.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I think that is the 14th of November. And then the 16th and 17th are the ones in Los Angeles. I'm doing this without the benefit of a calendar in front of me.
It's okay. It's just to alert people to Google it, because the folks that are listening from Davis, California, they would probably come down to San Francisco, as I used to do when I lived in Davis and was a student. And it's only like an hour and a half drive down. And
well, that's great. Yeah, we hope people will come from all over the place. You know, I mean, we don't get out very often. You know.
Yeah. I'm here in Palm Springs, so the Southern California shows are the ones that are the more interesting to me. It's about a 2-hour drive over to the big city of LA.
Which, of course, is nothing in California. From having lived there for about 6 or 7 years, you know, that was always so weird to me, that it's like, you know, these considerable distances really just don't really mean anything to people in California. I mean, it's like, those miles are, you know, I mean, I think of going from like Durham to Winston-Salem, and that's an hour and change, which is not very bad at all. But a lot of people are like, oh my God, you're on that far away?
That's just across LA.
Yeah, kind
of. With the traffic, it may not be far in miles, but it does take a bit of time sometimes.
This is true.
It's true. So your very first DB's album stands for Decibels. I saw some advertisement on the social medias about how it was the first time on vinyl. Now, I remember having a copy of that in our bins back when I was doing college radio at KDVS in, you know, what year that was, 81, I guess. And it must have been an import, right?
It was. I mean, the records have been released on vinyl outside of the United States. I mean, we did not really have an American recording contract until 1984, until after Chris had left the band. So we put out these first two records on a label in England called Albion Records. And we were label mates with people like Motorboys Motor, that eventually became Screaming Blue Messiahs, and an artist named Hazel O'Connor, who was the star of a movie called Breaking Glass. And it was a small label, but they put a lot of energy and effort into the marketing, and so we were beneficiaries of some really smart people there. But we never were able to get the records out in the States. By the time the band had broken up in '87 or '88, IRS Records had control over the first two albums in the U.S., and of course that's before the reemergence of vinyl. So they put them out on CDs after the band had broken up. You know, it's the timing that's involved with this band has been just insane. So this is the first time that we will actually have vinyl copies out and about, and we're glad. And Bob Weston did the remastering job on both records, and from what I'm told, it sounds really, really great, and that's very exciting as well. because the only other way that it had been on vinyl was with a German label that must have mastered it off of somebody's scratchy cassette. It sounded terrible, and they put it on white vinyl. Yeah.
Oh, lovely, lovely. So it was hi-fi all around.
But I'll tell you what, thanks to college radio DJs like yourself, people who did bring in their copies of the imports, played them on the radio, and we actually were able to get some at least some listening traction from radio listeners. And I think that's a huge part of why the DBs have got a reputation in the first place. It's mainly because of the intrepid college radio jocks,
There you go.
We are so grateful for that. We always want to give credit where credit is due. So
there you go. Hey,
take a bow. Take a bow, my friend.
I'll take a bow. Yeah, a 40-year-old bow.
So it's just a little creaky when you get back up.
Oh God, gosh. Where's the ibuprofen? Our paths first crossed in 1983. I don't think we met them, but you were at Bearsville Studio in December of 1983, and in one of the other studios was NRBQ. And True West, we were doing some demos with Tom Verlaine in the other studio, and I know we hung out with Will Rigby a bit because he was friends with Randy Blackberg from our mutual. You guys were booked by Singer Management too, right?
Well, yes, and in fact, his tour is being booked by Frank Riley, who was our old agent back in the day, who we met through Singer Management as well. But yeah,
there we go. Okay, so it's an old time reunion. So why don't we play something off of Stands for Decibels, and
sure.
Why don't you pick it and announce it?
I'm going to pick Black and White because A, it's the first song on the record, so it's easy to find. B, because it still kicks considerable ass, I think, 42 years later.
Awesome.
I don't enjoy you anymore. Well, I guess I just don't enjoy you anymore. Well, I guess it's all let out in black and white. You don't like it at all. Love is
So that was Peter Holsapple and the DBs. Peter, tell us more about that song.
Well, that was a single that we originally cut for a small label in New York called Shake Records, which was run by the late Alan Betrock. Alan had started New York Rocker magazine, and he decided he wanted to have a label. And he'd gotten, Chris, when Chris and Sneakers came up to New York, in 77, I think, a lot of rock critics turned out for that show at Max's Kansas City. And Alan developed a friendship with Chris and suggested that he come up. And so when Chris came up, he started playing bass for Alex Chilton. And then when Alex left, Chris started a band of his own with Will and with Gene. And so somewhere along the line, I came up. I had been living in Memphis. I did some recording down there. And I decided that it was probably a good time to get out of there and get to New York finally. So I came up and auditioned to play keyboards for the DBs. And Alan was very interested in doing something with us. He was really glad that I was writing with the band as well. I mean, he was a big fan of Chris's, but he also took a lot of time and was a good mentor for me as well. And so he started this label, Shake Records. And what else he put out? There was there was a 4-song Richard Hell EP with 2 songs from the Neon Boys, which was the pre-television Verlaine and Billy Ficca and Hell. And so he put out Black and White, and the other side was called Soul Kids, a song of Chris's. And that record got a little bit of traction in New York. Meg Griffin, one of the great DJs of our time, used to play it on her show on Saturday mornings, and I would wake up and hear that on the radio, and I was thinking, this is what it's all about. This is what I've been living for. So, and that was sort of the beginning of making the record. Then we started doing more of the record because Terry Ork, who'd put out The Summer Sun, Chris's first single, had done a deal with Warner Brothers in England. They got some money for the DBs, and we were going to do a single or two, but we ended up just starting a record. In fits and starts, we got Stands for Decibels finished in about 1980 or so. And Chris and I had a publishing deal with Albion, the nice people over there who were friends of Alan's. And we got to go over to England. We toured over there a couple of times. We got to open for Dave Edmunds on a tour. We played at this enormous show with the Flesh Tones and the Bush Tetras, and the Ray Beats and the Bongos and Poly Rock called Taking Liberties. And Stiff Records put out a record called Start Swimming, and it was 2 songs for each of the bands except for Poly Rock. And it was a weird show because The Who had just been in the Rainbow where this was taking place, and all the seats were gone, and it was in February, and it was freezing cold, and there was not enough money to turn the heat on. And of course, it was a little bit like, oh, these New York people coming over, they're thumbing their nose at us. They think they started this stuff, and it's like, well, we'll show them. We just won't show up at the show. So we had we had a great time with that. And actually, I should mention that there's a bonus track on Stands for Decibels, which is a song called Judy, which was a 45 that we put out. It came out between Stands for Decibels and Repercussion, and we were gonna do a tour of the Netherlands. We had a bunch of dates set for that, and the label asked us to put that aside and go in with a producer. We went into Ampro Studios, which was Nick Lowe's little studio. It had belonged to Tony Visconti before that.
Oh, wow.
And so we were getting the Mary Hopkin vibe, because she was married to him at the time. But we went in there and we cut a 45 and put that out as a sort of an interim thing, and then came back over later and did Repercussion. And we did that with Scott Litt producing. And we did that at the Ramport studio in Battersea, which is the Who's studio. So that was extremely cool to be in there. I got it. But we were able to actually use some stuff like we used an 8-string bass that belonged to John Entwistle, which was really nice. So, and we had a great time. We were over there for about 6 weeks during the Charles and Di wedding, and we did some.
Were you invited?
No, that's all right. But we did get to mix at Air on Oxford Street, which was really cool because Paul and Linda were working on tug of war. And so we stuck our heads in there, and George Martin had like a wall of McCartney's Fairchild tube limiters. And so we were all, being kind of gearheads, we were all kind of like psyched to see all that stuff.
Oohing and aahing. Yeah.
Oh,
wow.
yeah. And Linda McCartney was there, and she was so nice, and she was just incredibly pleasant. We didn't see much of Paul. Paul was working really hard, but he did stick his head through he said, "You let the DBs," and we gave him a big nod, and he gave the thumbs up, and we were just kind of like, as they would say, falling all over the place. So that was so cool. So we had a lot of fun over there with that.
Let's shift gears and talk about the Continental Drifters. And
okay,
for those folks that, tell us about the music and the book that's coming out, but also give us a little, for the folks who don't know the Drifters, Cliff's Notes.
Absolutely. Well, in 1992, after having played with REM for a tour and a record and leaving their employ, I was living in Los Angeles, and a friend of mine from New Orleans, Carlo Nuccio, tremendous drummer, larger-than-life personality, gave me a call and said, "Hey, Peter, I got this band, and we're playing at Rocky's. You got to come down and see it. It's the greatest thing." And I'm like, "Okay, Carlo." So I came down.
Best Carlo imitation ever.
He was totally right. He was absolutely right. Yeah. It was Carlo. It was Ray Ganeshow, his friend from New Orleans, on guitar and vocals. Gary Eaton from the Ringling Sisters on guitar and vocals. Mark Walton from the Dream Syndicate on bass, and Danny Magoo, who I knew because he was playing with
Danny.
Seven Deadly Five.
You know, I used to go see those guys all the time, and I didn't realize that Denny was playing with them. Denny has since played with me. Geez, I do not remember him. I remember Ray and Gary, and wow. Cool.
Well, he was so busy that, and you know, of course, reading the book, apparently Carlo had said in one of his interviews that I wanted to be in the band so bad that I made them fire Danny, and I'm like. Wow, I don't think that happened, but you know, what are you going to do? So, but I would go down and see them, and Carlo one time, Ray was not available, so Carlo got me and our mutual friend Dave Catching, who is the guitar player for Eagles of Death Metal and runs this Rancho de la Luna studio out in the desert. And so Dave and I were it took two of us to sub for Ray, and the die was cast. You know, but I produced them first. I produced a single, and we had some friends that were coming down to the show, Susan Cowsill from the Cowsills and Vicki Peterson from the Bangles, and they would come to the shows and they would sit in. You know, it was the nice thing about the Drifters was that was kind of fluid, that people would get up and play, and if people were missing for a week, we would have other people come in. I mean, Carlo was busy with all kinds of stuff, and so we would get Kevin Jarvis to come in and play drums. We'd get John Convertino from Giant Sand at that point, now from Calexico, and he would come and play drums. Michael Steele from the Bangles would play bass. I mean, we got all kinds of people up there on stages. We had guests. We would learn their songs. We'd play them. And then it became evident that people were moving to New Orleans. So Carlo and Ray were the first ones to go, and then Susan and I, who were at that point married and expecting a child, we went down to New Orleans and decided that was the possibility of owning a house seemed a lot more realistic than in L.A., so we moved down there. Gary didn't move, and we would get him down there periodically, and then Ray got an aneurysm in his shoulder, and he had to stop playing. So we got Robert Mache, who was playing. He played with the Steve Wynn Quintet, and he'd played with all sorts of people, Sparks and everybody you can think of.
Swinging Madisons.
Swinging Madisons, that's right. Start your set with Volare, end your set with Volare.
There you go.
Beat that. Plus being in a band with Christian Hoffman, you can't do much better. So and then Gary left, and it was so it ended up being the group with Carlo on drums, and then we did a record that was put out in Germany, the self-titled record, and it did pretty well. We went over there, toured over there, and then Carlo left the band, and we got Russ Broussard, who had been playing with the Blue Runners and with Terrence Simeon's band. and he was great also. And so that band cut 2 albums, Vermillion and Better Day. And then 9/11 happened, and we had to bail on a tour of Europe, which was heartbreaking for us, for the label that had put a lot of energy into it. And we just sort of folded our cards and walked away. And but then over the years, we have gotten back together and played. We did a really great reunion show in 2020.
I was there. My wife and I drove out from, we were living in LA at that point. We drove out to New Orleans and saw that show.
Oh, the Jazz Fest show?
No, the one at Tipitina's.
Oh, the one with everybody?
Yes.
Yeah, we did a couple of those. We did an LA show at the Morgan Wixon. 2 shows,
Right.
2 nights there, and then we did Tipitina's, and we had all 10 of the people that had played for any given amount of time in the Drifters. I mean, that was Ray and Carlo and Gary and Danny and me and Russ and Susan and Robert and Vicky and Mark, and it was just the best. And we played for 4 hours, and
I recall.
Felt like we could have gone on. And then it occurred to me that it just seemed like not enough people remembered what we'd done. And so I started pushing on our friends, Cheryl Pavelski and everybody at Omnivore Recordings. And I said, it'd be really great to do something. So we did a best of, and we got one called White Noise and Lightning, and that is coming out maybe the 13th of September. And then our friend Sean Kelly, he was like, you guys mean the world to me. So what do you think about a biography? So he started interviewing everybody at length, and he put together this beautiful biography. And it also is called White Noise and Lightning, the story of the Continental Drifters. And he was able to get interviews together with everybody, and he got a couple of interviews with Carlo before, unfortunately, Carlo passed away. And losing Carlo was like losing a lung, I mean, he was just so important to all of us. He was our kind of, even though he'd parted ways with the band years before, when we started getting back together again, he was the first guy there and was happy to be part of it. And we loved him, and he got himself kind of straightened out. He got married to this wonderful woman named Carmen. And he spent years in New Orleans sober and happy and fulfilled. And so I'm glad he was a part of everything, And then also Sean was able to he got 2 CDs worth of people doing Continental Drifters covers. Right. I mean, people like Rosie Flores and Marshall Crenshaw, George Porter Jr. from the Meters. Oh my God, I mean, it's just incredible. The lineup on this is it just blows my mind that band was so loved by so many people.
Where can we get it? I know it has. There's the book's on Tim Lee's label.
The book is on Tim Lee's Cool Dog Sounds. There are a number of places on social media. You can go to our Continental Drifters page there, and it's got all kinds of links to that. You can go for the best of. You can go to Omnivore Recordings, and they've got it for pre-sale right now. Yeah, so and I'm hoping that we can line up some shows in 2025. Like I say, 2024 is largely taken up with the DVs for most of the rest of the weekends of the year. I'm feeling good about the back 40.
There you go.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. All the way straight shot to 100. That's what I'm thinking.
Pedal to the metal.
That's it. Our guest has been Peter Holsapple. Thank you, Peter, for joining us today here on the Good Time Hour. And
we didn't even talk about Steve Wynn after all that.
I know. I'm
or Dave Provost. What is wrong with us?
Just not enough time. We could just go on and on. But thank you so much, Peter. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Russ. It was great to speak with you, and thanks for having me on your show. I really appreciate it a lot.
Okay, here's the Continental Drifters.
Well, I don't think about us much anymore. I remember. That's when I remember. I remember you. I remember you. Well, I don't think about you when I'm sleeping. It doesn't even cross my dream like mine. And I don't think I see your face through the curtain. Hell, I don't even miss you half the time. When it rains, when it rains, when it rains, that's when I remember. That's when I remember. I remember you. Well, I remember you. Rain, rain, go away. I'm doing fine as long as you stay locked up inside a cloud of rain. Rain, 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 well, when it rains, when it rains, well, that's when I remember. Yeah, that's when I remember. And I remember you. Yeah, I remember you. That's when I remember. The only time I remember. And I remember you.
That was the Continental Drifters here on the Russ Tolman Good Time Hour. And the song was the Rain Song from their 1999 album Vermillion. That band featuring Peter Holsapple, who we were speaking with here just a moment ago on the Good Time Hour. And we're going to get a little more music in before we have to go. This is a fellow named Tom Heyman, known him for a long time. He's out of San Francisco, has an album called 24th Street Blues, and this is Barbara Jean.
Barbara Jean was always cool, 17 when she left school. Went to work in her daddy's bar, a GED and a new used car. The old man knew it wouldn't be too long. She saved her tips and she'd be gone. There's never any in between. Everyone loved Barbara Jean. She got a job in a place downstate. She made some friends that liked to hang out late. Soon as that student loan came through, Barbara Jean knew what she had to do. She studied hard, she made the grade. You got to work, you might as well get paid. There was never any in between. Everyone loved Barbara Jean. When you're old beyond your years, you might just leave the ones you love in tears. Dad stroked out at 45, paralyzed on his right side. Too weak and sick to be alone, she packed her things and she headed home. Got a van with a wheelchair lift behind the bar now on the morning shift, and there was never any in between. Everyone loved Barbara Jean. Folks will ask her if she's home for good. She close her eyes and then she knock on wood. Pretty soon dreams begin to fade, like that tattoo on her shoulder blade. Butterfly with a purple wing meant something once, now it don't mean a thing. There was never any in between. Everyone loved Barbara Jean. Everyone loved Barbara Jean.
I'm gonna take a trip on the big back million. Sarah Jane, Sarah Jane, Sarah Jane, Sarah Jane. Ain't nothing to do but to sit down and sing and rock about my Sarah Jane. La 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 la. The boiler busted and the whistle squall. I kept him going through the hole in the wall. Oh, Sarah Jane, Sarah Jane, Sarah Jane, Sarah Jane. Ain't nothing to do but to sit down and sing and rock about my Sarah Jane. La 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 la. The hitcher gave a crack and the whistle gave a squall. The hitcher had gone through the hole in the wall. Sarah Jane, Sarah Jane, Sarah Jane, Sarah Jane. Ain't nothing to do but to sit down and sing and rock about my Sarah Jane. La 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 la. The Yankee built boats to shoot them rebels. My gun's steady, gonna hold it level. Sarah Jane, Sarah Jane, Sarah Jane, Sarah Jane. Ain't nothing to do but to sit down and sing and rock about my Sarah Jane. La 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 I got a wife and 5 little children. I'm gonna take a trip on the big back million. Sarah Jane, Sarah Jane, Sarah Jane, Sarah Jane. Ain't nothing to do but to sit down and sing and rock about my Sarah Jane. La 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 la, yeah, la 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la.
Unbelievable. Are you aware that Phil Spector produced a record for Leonard Cohen? That's it right there. Came out in 1976 called Death of a Ladies' Man. And that song was Don't Go Home With Your Heart On. And right before that, Bob Dylan from his 73 album called Dylan and Sarah Jane. And we started off with a buddy of mine, Tom Heyman, Barbara Jean from his most recent. It's called 24th Street Blues. And Tom's going to be playing a show with me in Joshua Tree coming up on October 5th. Stay tuned for more info on that. And it's that time of the program for the Russ Tolman Good Time Hour for some Russ Tolman music. And thank you for joining us this week, and we'll see y'all later. This is Something About a Rowboat.
My memory's not as good as it used to be. 8 hours and 14 beers ago. Last night there was a drama, and we were center stage. But what was the dialogue? I'll never know. All I remember is something about a rowboat, about living on the sea. All I remember is something about a rowboat, and how you don't wanna be with me. There's no sense in feeling foolish. There's no sense in feelings at all. You certainly got your point across, but just how you put it, I don't recall. Something about a rowboat, about living on the sea. All I remember is something about a rowboat, and how you don't wanna be with me. I get so tired of beating myself up for things that aren't my fault. Take away the shame, and if I go ahead and make a fool of myself, then there's only me to blame.